Alright, here's a question nobody ever asks at a steakhouse, but they should. Why does Brazil, a country with more cattle than people, and the creator of the global churrascaria culture, sacralize one specific cut above all others? Not ribeye, not tenderloin, not even close. It's a piece of meat that most Western grocery stores don't even sell. It's called picanha, and if you've never had a properly cut, properly grilled picanha, you have not had the full beef experience yet. We're going to fix that today. Most food media gets picanha wrong by calling it the top sirloin cap. That's technically accurate, but it misses the magic. Picanha comes from the top of the rump, a triangular muscle that does very little heavy lifting, keeping it tender. But tenderness isn't the real prize, it's the fat cap. Unlike marbling, which distributes fat inside the meat, picanha's fat sits entirely on the outside like a thick white blanket. When you grill it fat cap up, this layer slowly renders, basting the entire cut from the outside in. It's a completely different thermodynamic process than marbling. The result is an incredibly beefy, caramelized crust with a rich, lingering finish. Yet, most supermarkets don't carry it. Why? Here's the secret Brazilian butchers know. The three veins running across the face of picanha are not hidden. They are surface-level boundaries, and they mark the exact line between culinary heaven and hell. Picanha and the tough muscle directly behind it, called coxeo duro, are actually the same muscle, the biceps femoris. The front section near the hip is the tender picanha. The rear section, used constantly for walking, is dense and tough. The three veins mark exactly where the tender meat ends. Brazilian tradition is strict. A true picanha is cut only up to the third vein. Any cut past that includes the tough, cheap posterior muscle. And scrupulous packers love to slip in a fourth or fifth vein to charge you premium prices for tough meat. Count the veins. 3 is your finish line. Once you have a true picanha, slicing is a precise two-step method. Step 1. Slice the raw meat with the grain into thick, 2-inch steaks. Step 2. After cooking, slice against the grain at the table. This cuts the muscle fibers to their shortest length, ensuring every bite melts like butter. Cut it wrong at the table, and you're chewing rubber. The American problem. So why is it so hard to find in Western supermarkets? The industry relies on a rigid commodity system. Picanha sits right at the awkward border of the sirloin and the round primals. Because it crosses these corporate categories, mass producers historically ignored it. Instead, they tossed it into bulk grinds or mislabeled it as culate, a generic name that strips away all the culinary heritage Brazilian butchers perfected. It didn't fit supermarket logistics, so it got erased. But that corporate oversight is your massive financial advantage. The cooking science. How do you cook it? The traditional way is beautifully simple. Salt heavily with coarse sea salt an hour before cooking, letting the surface dry. Grill it fat cap up over high. Direct heat for 20 to 25 minutes until the internal temperature hits 130 degrees Fahrenheit for a perfect medium rare. The fat cap is not a trim. It is your cooking medium and your sauce. If you cut it off, you are drying out a lean muscle. If you want to elevate it further, look for dry-aged picanha. A short 7-day dry age concentrates the beef flavor dramatically because that thick exterior fat protects the meat while enzymes break down the interior. Now for the biggest market failure in the food world. Why does picanha cost a fraction of the price of filet mignon? Filet mignon is tender, yes, but it is virtually flavorless. You are paying a massive premium for expensive, protein bowl texture. Picanha gives you the tenderness of a non-working muscle, a self-basting fat cap, and an intense, mineral beef flavor, all at half the price of a ribeye. It is a pure market inefficiency. While the crowd fights over recognized names, you can buy a whole picanha and eat something that makes filet mignon taste like expensive tofu. The picanha of the world. This culinary truth isn't exclusive to Brazil. Look closely and you'll see other food cultures independently discovering the exact same prize. Japan prizes this top sirloin cap for its rendering fat. Korea's Hanwoo beef cultures demand premium prices for it. And Argentina's Asado culture relies heavily on this exact cut. The world keeps rediscovering it because the physics of a self-basting fat cap simply cannot be beaten. Closing. So, next time you visit a good butcher shop, Here's what you do. Ask for the whole cut. Keep the fat cap on. Count the veins before you buy. 3 is the finish line. Everything past it is tough meat. Grill it fat cap up over high heat. Let the fat do its job. When you slice it at the table, go against the grain. Always. You're going to bite into something that most of your friends have never tasted. The best steak in the world doesn't always have the highest price. Sometimes it's just the one nobody's heard of yet. Now you have.